been a very strong year for Good Energy, and you can see that really throughout the P&L. The sales line hasn't actually moved that much, and that's really driven by the price of energy. So there's a small move in that because energy prices effectively peaked in the first quarter of this year. But where you see a significant difference is at the gross profit line, which our gross profits increased by 45% compared with a year ago. And that really reflects the unusual nature of the energy market in the last year, where prices began to fall rather faster than tariffs did in the first half. And it was an unusually profitable period, smoothed out through the year. And that then flows through into our profit before tax figure. We've reported a profit before tax of £5.7 million, which is a considerable increase on last year's figure, which was just above £1 million. So it really shows, I think, a strong set of operating results for the company. And we shouldn't forget that that is achieved alongside a significant investment in new propositions and services for our customers. We established a clear dividend policy in 2022, which is to say that we are investing behind the future growth of the company, particularly in energy services, and that's where a lot of our capital and cash would be allocated. But we do recognise the importance of a dividend to some investors and have begun to pay one over the last couple of years. And because of the strength of the results, the confidence in the outlook, the board has increased the recommended dividend to 2.25 pence from 2 pence a share last year. So a meaningful increase to convey a sense of confidence. So I think there were a number of operational highlights in the year. If we start with our existing propositions, we have achieved a 5-star rating on Trustpilot for our service. And for the third year running, we have been given the accolade of the top eco provider by Which and the Consumers Association. We have launched a series of new and very innovative propositions for the UK's micro generator community, who really are our core audience. So we're now paying a large number of fit generators on actually their measured energy export, not an assumed amount. We've launched new and market-leading tariffs for generators who missed out on the feed-in tariff scheme. And of course, on the services side, we have really grown out our ability to install energy technology as well as provide tariffs and services for it. And so through the year, we've added a capability to install heat pumps and then solar panels for both domestic and business customers. And our reach with those businesses really stretches across most of the south of England now. So a very positive year in terms of our operation of the business. So the ZapMap team have been extraordinarily busy in 2023 in a number of areas, really. The app has now gone international, so you can use ZapMap's mapping capability for a number of continental European countries if you are roaming outside of the UK, which really underpins their ambition to begin to internationalise that business. We've seen strong user growth again. So there are now over 1.4 million downloads of ZapMap, about 780,000 registered users. So one of the things that's been consistent about that business is that its penetration of the UK's electric vehicle driving market remains very high at well over 70% of electric vehicle drivers at least being a registered user, not actually a monthly user of ZapMap. And I think in terms of the commercialization, the business of it, we've really landed on 3 products that they're trying to sell. The first is the app itself, which has a subscription element. There are now well over 16,000 paying subscribers using ZapMap. It has a paid for charging element, and about 25% of the UK's public charge points are payable through the app. And outside of the app, we then have a product called ZapMap Spark, which is effectively a feed of the data that it's powering that enables other people to use it to build their own products and tools. And with FleetCore, we are powering their electric vehicle fleet application as well. And the last side of the business that's seen very strong growth, it's called ZapMap Insights. And because of its penetration in the marketplace, ZapMap is the definitive source of data on how people are driving and charging electric vehicles. And they've built a very considerable revenue stream against that, with everybody from the Department for Vehicle Licensing to charge point operators, banks and consultancies buying the data back from them and turning it into a real product. So a year of real progress for ZapMap, and I would encourage anybody to look at the app if they've not done so for a while, and you can see the user experience has improved considerably. In some ways, we made 3 acquisitions through this year. One actually closed just at the very end of last year, but didn't really come onto stream, if you like, until the new year, and that was a heat pump installation business. It focuses on a very sort of specialist capability in terms of working in slightly larger homes, often rural households, doing bigger jobs with an emphasis on the quality of the job, on monitoring the heat pump after it's gone in to improve its performance and suggest improvements to the customer, and on making further alterations to the house if needed to make the heat pump really work. So we bought that business in at the start of the year, and it's now reasonably integrated within Good Energy. It trades under the Good Energy brand, and it continues to do good work. About 40% just shy of the work it does is actually people in rural houses who are coming off oil or bottled gas as a heating product and finding heat pumps to be a much better solution to their needs. So a strong year of sort of integration, trading into the Good Energy brand, and beginning to be really recognised for the quality of the work they do for the heat business. The other 2 businesses we acquired are focused on solar panel installation. So we brought Wessex Eco Energy, who are based in Dorchester, during the summer, and then we've just added JPS Renewables based in Kent in February of this year. So most of last year, I suppose, relates to Wessex. They are performing exactly as we'd hoped, a good mix of commercial and business revenues. Again, very strong, trusted trader, Google type ratings showing that they are doing a high quality job, and we're very deliberate in our focus on slightly larger houses and work, slightly higher revenue per panel installed, because we think that is where we can really achieve a differentiation with our service. So in 2022, when we began to talk about our strategy of growing an energy services business, one of the ways we expressed that was to say we had a target of reaching 1 million homes and businesses and helping them cut their carbon by 2025. And we really did that to emphasize the fact that the nature of our business was shifting away from a supply and generation focus into providing services for people as well. And I'm happy to say that actually a year early, we have passed that 1 million customer target, driven by the growth in users of ZapMap, driven by new customers we've brought in on the installation side and on the feed-in tariff side. And so, job done, if you like. And one of the things that underpins the fact that the company has now transformed is the fact that we do help well over 1 million homes and businesses in the UK cut carbon from their energy and transport. So I think the important thing to stress is that the nature of many consumers' relationship with their energy company is one that is changing for some already, but is going to change for many consumers over the next 5 years and more, and to be unrecognisable from where we are today. So a lot more people are, for example, going to want to install solar panels and battery storage to take a bit more control of their energy usage. A lot more people are going to want to electrify their heating, and we're really only at the beginning of that. So for example, only 8% of the eligible homes in the UK at the moment have solar panels on their roofs. It's about a £1.9 billion market for solar panel installation. We think that will increase to just shy of £5 billion by 2030 if the UK is going to get anywhere near the sort of targets we have for greening our energy grid. And frankly, the government's targets aren't necessarily what's going to drive this. This is going to be a much more popular product with consumers. It cuts your energy bills, allows you to consume energy much more flexibly, to choose when to put it into the car, when to feed it back to the grid, when to use it within the home. So we are enabling people to both live greener lives, but also cut their bills and live in a much more sustainable way. And I think that's a fantastic growth market to be involved in. The team at Good Energy are very committed to scaling out our offering for this market, and I would say to investors it's a great place to invest because we're only at the start.